Hello! Now Fiona and I will talk you through experiment 2.4, which is talking about osmosis. And first of all, we'll define osmosis with you. And Fiona's holding this fabulous poster. And if you look over here, it says osmosis is the diffusion of water across a selectively permeable membrane from an area of low solute or high water to an area of high solute or low water concentration. So we know it's specifically the movement of water. We know that it's a passive process because water is moving down its concentration gradient from high water to low water, or you can say water is moving from low solute to high solute. Thank you, Fiona. So, in today's experiment, we will set up 4 beakers. And we will use dialysis tubing with different concentrations of sucrose and water to look at the rate of movement of water across membranes. Water should be small enough to diffuse through the pores in the dialysis tubing. Remember, it's made of cellulose and has pores of a certain size. We are interested in comparing the rate of diffusion of water or osmosis of water when we have a greater concentration gradient, so a bigger range of concentration differences between the bag and the beaker. So the first thing we'll do, just like in experiment 2.3, we've tied one end of the dialysis tubing with a knot, and in that tubing we're putting 4 different solutions, and we have 4 different beaker setups. You can see them here in front of me. The first beaker, and this is explained quite clearly in your prac notes, you can look at a diagram there now. If we look in beaker 1, the bag will contain 20% sucrose, and the beaker will contain distilled water. Beaker 2 contains 10% sucrose in the bag, and the beaker itself contains distilled water. In beaker 3, the bag has distilled water, and the beaker contains distilled water, and this will be an interesting sample to compare our results to. And in beaker 4, we have 10% sucrose in the bag and 30% sucrose in the beaker. So let's have a look at the bag in beaker 1. The experiment's started, but let's go back to the beginning with you. The first thing we need to do, of course, is put our 20% sucrose solution in the bag, which we've done here. We squeeze out the excess air in the tubing and leave an airspace just in case any solution is going to move into the bag. We then tie a knot in the other end of the tubing, which our helpers have very kindly done for us today. And you will see in your prac book that you have a table to insert the weights of the bags at various times during the time course of this experiment. And of course we need a starting weight for each of the 4 bags in each of the 4 beakers. So what we need to do before we start the experiment is we've added the 20% sucrose to this bag. We're going to pat dry the bag using some paper towel. And we'll do this for each of the bags. And then we'll place it in a weigh boat on the scales. And Fiona will weigh that for me now.
So when you're weighing this, you need to make sure that you tear your scales so that you don't get the weight of the weigh boat in there. Also, we're trying to pat it dry so that if you have a look, there's lots of crevices for water to actually stick to. That's going to affect the weight. So let's just get rid of that. We'll just tear it, and then we're just going to weigh it. Once you've actually got an accurate reading, then you can just make that recording in your workbooks in the relevant column.
And that bag weighs 15.79 grams. Okay, so we would take the weight of each of the 4 bags at the beginning of the experiment. This is at time 0. So they've been filled with solution, they've been patted dry, and they've been weighed. We would then add all of the bags to the beakers at the one time and start our timer.
Yep.
And we would time 20 minutes. We would then stop the timer on our stopwatch and again remove each of the bags from the beaker. We can wash them over the sink with deionized water from the squeezy bottle and again pat them dry and again weigh the bags. And we'll do that for all 4 bags every 20 minutes. So at time 0 at the beginning of the experiment, at time 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, and then 80 minutes. And what we're interested in, of course, is the change in weight over time. So the bags may increase in weight. And what would that be an indication of, Fiona?
Probably things moving into the bag.
And sometimes the bags may lose weight. They may become lighter. And that would indicate what?
That something's moving out of the bags.
So we'll leave you to run that experiment for 80 minutes, and your tutor will discuss the results of this experiment with you.